Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning to you, everyone, and welcome to today. Today is Tuesday, by the way, Tuesday, the 4th of February, 2025. I'm Pearson Boyne. It is so good having you company. Thank you so much for waking up early to watch us on CBC TV8, on our website, cbc.bb, and on our feeds on YouTube and Facebook as well. Always good having you company. Remember to continue to interact with yourselves and us. Write their comment on what we're talking about. Pose your questions that you'd like me to ask as well. I'd love to hear from you. Also, continue to share the live streams with those with whom you interact. Also, you can email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Tell us what it is that you'd like for us to talk about. Some of the things that you think we may have missed. And that's how we work as a family, as a team of people to make this happen every single day. Now, today being the 4th of February, it is the birthday of Rhonda Hines Graham. Now, Rhonda is one of those who lives with us every morning. She wakes up bright and early to be with us on Morning Barbados. She also would have woken up bright and early to be with me when I was on Q on 100.7 FM in the morning. And so she's one of those pivotal to the early morning wall crawlers. So to you today, Rhonda, happy birthday. I hope you enjoy it to the max, as young people would say, and really have a good time. And so to all of you who are also celebrating today, congratulations on your celebration. We hope it's one that is memorable for good reason, and also one that is actually impactful, not just for yourself, but those with whom you interact. Now, I have a question of today. The question of the day. Simple so. What is your pet peeve? In other words, what ticks you off? What is your pet peeve? Think about that and give me a call on 228-5562 or 228-5563. What is your pet peeve? That is your question for the day. So I hear some comments in my ears already, but nope. So what is your pet peeve? 228-5562 or 228-5563. If you're asking, well, why does he do that every morning? It's to get us going, to get your brain ticking, to wake you up in the kind of way that gets you thinking and acting and responding. So what is your pet peeve? 228-5562 or 228-5563. If you have one, you can comment also on our Facebook page in the chat, and we will see. We'll share with everyone as well. So what is it that is your pet peeve? Tell me today. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, my pet peeve.
I am not hearing you at all, so if they can help me hear you, I'll be happy to hear you and engage with you. So let's try again. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you for asking. And what is your first name and what parish are you watching from?
Gail, Christchurch.
Gail of Christchurch. Gail, watch what you say here. What is your pet peeve?
My pet peeve would be for persons who don't signal when they're on the road, whether they're turning left, right, or stopping.
Gail, I could shake your hand. I am with you on that. You are just stopped suddenly. I am so with you on that, Gail. So did you have a recent experience of that?
No, it is something that I see on the road daily as I traverse. So I don't like it.
Or they wait until the very last minute and they hit to indicate to turn, but they're already at the turn.
That is correct.
And you're thinking they're going straight ahead.
Yes.
Gail, girl, I can shake your hand for real. Thank you so much, Gail.
All right, have a good day.
You too, thanks a lot. What is your pet peeve? Call me now. 228-5562 or 228-5563. And you know, since COVID, this whole thing of distancing, so it's almost a pet peeve of me. It's like, why are you standing so close to me? Why are you so close to me? I know I'm even hyper conscious of how close people are to me now. Good morning. Hello.
Peace be unto you and yours.
You too, Gail. We have two Gails.
Everyone.
Thank you so much. And what's your pet peeve?
Do unto others as you will have them do unto you.
That is the golden rule. But what ticks you off?
What takes me out?
Mm-hmm.
Do unto others as you will have them do unto you when people do you things that you wouldn't do to them.
Uh-huh.
That's my thing.
So you don't like people doing to you what you have
What I
not done to
wouldn't
them.
do. True.
So if someone gives you something wonderful,
Pardon
if
me?
someone gives you something that's really of great value to you, you get
Yeah.
upset
No,
because
I
you did
said
not
no
give to
unto
them.
others. You sure not understanding me.
I understand you, Gail. I do.
Yes.
I'm just taking and twisting it in another
Oh.
direction.
Oh, I'm
So,
thankful, and I do the same for them.
all right, fair enough. Here, thank you, Gail.
You too.
Good girl. 228-5562 or 228-5563. What is your pet peeve? For real, for real, for real. One Gail from Christchurch says, when you don't indicate here, please indicate for Gail. Please indicate for me. I have the same feeling about that one. Or when you just don't do unto others as you would want done unto you. That also ticks her off. So be kind. I suppose that's what Gail from St. Michael is saying as well. So what is your pet peeve today? Think about it and give me a call. Now, it's Black History Month, and there's some labor men who, over the time here in the Caribbean, have labored hard and long to build a society that as we are. So today we want to, in this Black History Month, to look at their contributions to CARICOM. And so when we have our conversations on CARICOM, we'll be looking and highlighting some of them whose life story you may not be terribly familiar with, or you may in some passing have heard their names. But who are they? Who are these early labor men, and what have they done towards developing the whole idea of CARICOM, the whole idea of the West Indies? Now, there's some schools in Canada that we think are good schools for you to attend, and so just ahead of an open session tomorrow, we get to hear what it means to be in a boarding school in Canada. What are some of the best schools? What are some of the curricula that they offer? We want to talk a little bit about that as well. We'll be joined by one of those who will be a part of that open session tomorrow. We'll also to meet the author of a book called Going Home. I can hear somebody on the phone, am I right? Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing so fine. How are you?
You sound fantastic. I'm well. How are you?
I'm great.
And so, what makes you do so fine this morning?
Oh, there. I woke up.
Uh-huh.
The sun is soon rising.
Uh-huh.
In my prayers. I hear the little birds singing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel good inside.
So, is this your normal habit to wake up this early in the morning?
Very much earlier. Oh, yes. I'm up from about 4 o'clock every morning.
In other words, you can't sleep.
4:30. I'm sorry?
In other words, you just can't sleep.
I got an inside clock there that let me wake up every time at that time.
You know,
and it's the time that I used to get to work and stuff ready for work.
I got you. Don't you know how to turn off that inside clock?
I don't know how to turn it off. Oh, I try. But I love getting up and doing what I do at an early start.
That's fair. I love that. As do I. As do I. So tell me, what is your pet peeve?
My pet peeve is when you stop to let out someone from a side street or whatever, and they continue to drive very slow. That is one of my pet peeves. You know,
In other words,
and then you stop.
In other words, for you, when you join traffic, join at the speed. Keep moving, keep moving. That's it for you, right?
Yes,
So-
I do so. And also what the First Lady said, you know, people not indicating if to turn in left or right.
So can I ask you, are you one who has road rage?
No.
You sure?
No, I don't have road rage.
You're patient on the road.
I'm very patient. I'm patient to an extent, but not road rage.
What's your first name?
My name is Shirley.
Shirley. Shirley, it is such a pleasure to engage with you this morning. And what parish are you watching us from?
I'm from St. James in Husband.
Shirley of Husband St. James. Thank you, Shirley. Have a great day with us, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Okay.
Also coming up today, as you know, the gathering is on in St. Peter, and we have been telling you about the exhibition in the library just upstairs of the Republic Bank in Speightstown. There's a young man who is a fine artist. He'll join us this morning. He's done some phenomenal work, really, really good work. And we want to be able to showcase him so that you can go to see his work on display in that exhibition in St. Peter. But I was telling you about the book Going Home. It's written by a Barbadian who was born in London, raised in Barbados, now living in Georgia. She is a global traveler, but she's written a book which is interesting to look at this time because as you're hearing of the deportation from the United States, and this book looks at that, and it was written in 2015. Was she prophetic? Don't know, but we'll talk to her in just a little while. So interrupt me anytime you can to tell me what is your pet peeve today. Also, I want to remind you that you have an opportunity to win in our Valentine's competition. But how do you do so? How do you enter? Take a look at this.
Get away.
Are you and your bae ready for the ultimate getaway? 98.1 The One and Mornin Barbados are teaming up to give 4 lucky couples a chance to win an unforgettable vacation. Here's the deal. Starting January 20th through February 15th, send us a video to marketing@cbc.bb or via WhatsApp to 467-5465, telling us why you and your bae deserve a vacation. Videos must be 30 to 90 seconds long and may be shared on social media and on TV8. Be creative, be fun, and most importantly, show us the love. Submit your video and you and your bae could be packing your bags for an epic staycation. So, what are you waiting for? Send those videos in and let's make it a vacation to remember.
Vacation. Get away.
This promotion is brought to you by our valued sponsors, Pine Hill Dairy, Burger King, Post Wireless World, Girlfriend Expo and Arts Festival 2025, The Magic of Carnival, Hilton Barbados, Coconut Court Hotel, Ross Trevor Hotel, 98.1 The One, and Mornin Barbados.
So enter. You have until the 15th to get your videos in. Thank you very much for participating. Can't wait to find out who the winners are. Also, 98.1 The One is celebrating their birthday. You better believe it, in the month of February. They too are having a lovely little occasion. They're having a party, as a matter of fact, at Copacabana on the 23rd of February, and that party is a grown-up party, so 18 years and older. It starts at 4 in the afternoon, runs until 11 in the evening, and we want to encourage as many of you as possible to be a part of it. But we have another caller on the line. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well.
Oh, wonderful to hear. And what's your first name and the parish you're watching
Marva.
from?
I am so happy to have you on TV again.
Marva, I didn't go anywhere, but thank you. Thank you very much.
I miss you.
Bless your heart, Marva. Thank you. So how are you doing today?
I am fantastic.
Oh, wonderful to hear. Marva, what's your pet peeve?
When people call on the radio station and the TV, turn down the radio. It drives me crazy.
Marva?
Turn down the radio all these years. I mean, years, and you still have to repeat the same thing over again. Turn down the radio.
I am so with you, girl. So with you. After all this time, you have to say the same things over and over and over again. What does that tell you about us?
I don't know. We're not listening, we're not paying attention, or we just don't care.
It's either of those. I'm not so sure which it is, but you know you might be right. It's either we're not paying attention enough, and sometimes you folks who call, you like to hear yourselves, don't you?
Not really. The thing that they don't understand is that y'all have those, what do you call it, on your ears, and that feedback kill your ears.
Yeah. It's a bit of a bother. So when we ask you to turn the volume down and just focus on listening, you see, and I really what happens, Marva, I'll tell you though, is that folks like to hear themselves coming through the audio speakers of the device that they're with. And so they don't pay attention to the phone. They want to be sure, okay, I'm on, I can hear myself, so therefore I'm on, I'm listening to that. But all we want you to do is to listen to the telephone. That's all you need to focus on, and it makes life so much easier. But also the additional noise in the background is what creates a bit of a confusion.
They don't understand what it do to y'all.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's my pet peeve.
Thank you, Marva.
It drives me crazy.
Girl, don't stress not thyself. Thank you, Marv. Have a good day as well. Thank you so much. 14 minutes now after 6 o'clock. Continue to interact, continue to tell us your pet peeve. I'll be checking in with you a little later on. Let's turn our attention now to our conversations on CARICOM. It's Tuesday. And so today, as I told you at the beginning, there are some labor men who have worked hard and toiled long in love of country, in love of the space we know as the West Indies. And there was a time when they took some time to decide, let's be federal. And you're asking yourself, what is that? Well, Ambassador David Comishon joins us now to take a look at that and a whole lot more. And these people, these labor men, Ambassador, good morning.
Good morning. Morning, Pearson.
So when we talk about a federation, what were we talking about?
I wanted us to focus on the West Indies Federation at this commencement of Black History Month, because it was one of our Caribbean's greatest achievements. It was also one of our greatest tragedies. Yet, people of my generation and younger, those of us who were born in the decade of the 60s and more recently, we have virtually no idea
Yes.
about this great project that those who came before us were involved in. And I think that's a shame because, just as you said, there were heroes. There were really outstanding Caribbean labor leaders, politicians, statesmen who worked over decades to create this West Indies Federation that unfortunately only lasted for 4 years. And we don't know, they're lost from view. And so if I said to Barbadians, are you aware of Sir Archibald Cooke and the role that he played in the British West Indies Federation? I will draw a blank. Or Dr. Arnott Cato. Of course, we know a bit about Sir Grantley Adams.
Yes.
But I think it's important that we take the time to recall these men and this great project in our history.
So let's go to the beginning. There's always the beginning. So let's look at who were the people who pioneered the idea of the Federation.
Yes, I would say three giants that we need to be conscious of. I would give pride of place to Theophilus
What a name.
Albert Marichaud of Grenada, who was one of the early labor leaders going way back to the 19 teens, the very beginning of the 20th century. And he started the movement to fight for representative government of the native people of Grenada in the then British colony of Grenada. And then, of course, in Trinidad, you had Captain Arthur Cipriani, another early labor leader. He had served in the British West Indian Regiment in the First World War. He came back. He revived the Trinidad Working Men's Association, and he made his contribution from Trinidad. And then in Guyana, you had, born in Guyana, but of Barbadian parentage. His father was a Barbadian migrant to Guyana. Hubert Nathaniel Critchlow, who started the first trade union in the Caribbean in 1917, the British Guyana Labor Union. So I would say that these were the three initial giants who came together in 1926 in the British Guyana and West Indies Labor Conference in Guyana. And they launched the idea that these colonies of these West Indian colonies of Britain, they wanted to come together in a federation, and they wanted self-government. Because back then they were all British colonies with no self-government. So they said, our demand, the demand of the labor movement of the Caribbean to you, Britain, to you, British Colonial Office, is federation and self-government. So that was the start of the project way back in 1926. And they formed the British Guyana and West Indies Labor Congress. That Congress met again in the 1930s in the midst of, the People's Rebellions of the 1930s. They re-emphasized our campaign is for federation, a political union of all of these colonies, and for them to be given virtual independent status as a political union. And so these were the three men who actually led the way until 1938. When, with the formation in Barbados of the Barbados Progressive League, which was the parent organization of the Barbados Labour Party and the Barbados Workers' Union, a man called Grantley Adams emerged on the scene. And Grantley Adams was the Barbados representative at the meeting of the British West Indies and Labour Congress in Trinidad in 1938 to prepare. You know, the Mornin Commission was coming down to the Caribbean from Britain as a result of the Labour rebellions. And they were so the Labour leaders were meeting in Trinidad to prepare for the Mornin Commission. And Grantley produced a draft constitution for a federation of the British West Indies. And they all accepted Grantley's document and said, yes, this is what we're going to go with, this is what we're going to put forward. And from then onwards, from 1938, Grantley Adams then begins to take over the baton from the old stalwarts, Marichaud, Critchlow, and Cipriani.
But there were some other people with him who also, because as I was listening to him, I'm thinking, one, to have had the thought and the foresight at that point in the early 1920s to decide this is how I'm going to challenge so soon after the abolition of slavery, and then to be so forward thinking about what it could mean for the region. And at that time, the challenges with communication, because you had Guyana, Trinidad, and Grenada talking the same language at that point without having the benefit of a cell phone as we have it today, so that you can share in that kind of way, must have been in itself quite interesting at times.
Yeah, it was remarkable that they were able to have that unity. Because, you know, Britain had come to this region, had set up these colonies, and had done very little to put these colonies in contact with each other. Every colony was associated with the mother country. So all the links were, you know, vertical links to Britain rather than horizontal links to each other. And the idea of coming together, the British only harbored that idea in a very limited way. So they would, for example, want to have a governor for Barbados and the Windward Islands, or governor for Barbados and the Leewards, and so forth. So for them, Caribbean unity was only about their administrative convenience. It was nothing of real substance, and it was nothing to meet the aspirations of the Caribbean people for nationhood and for independence. So for these labor leaders, in the midst of that kind of social milieu, to be able to have that commonality of purpose and to be able to work together was remarkable. But I think what caused that remarkable early unity was the fact that they were all fighting the same common struggle. They were fighting against British colonialism. They all wanted self-government of their countries and ultimately independence. And the idea took root that, look, we can only achieve these things if we come together. If we don't come together, we will never get the self-government, the independence, the nationhood from this British Empire. So that is what kind of bound them together. They formed this British Guyana and West Indies Labour Congress. And in 1945, they had a very, very important meeting of the Labour Congress in Barbados. And of course, this was when the BLP and the Barbados Workers' Union had come to full maturity. And at that Congress, they really solidified these demands for federation and independence, self-governance. And so they changed the name of their organization to the Caribbean Labour Congress. Yeah, they changed it to the Caribbean Labour Congress, and they installed Grantley Adams as their second vice president. They were still tipping their hat to the old stalwarts. So Marichaud was made president, Critchlow was made first vice president, but the rising man was Grantley Adams, and he was made second vice president. So from 1945, the movement, the old stalwarts now really give way to the Grantley Adams, Albert Gomes in Trinidad and Tobago, Norman Manley, then from Jamaica, then comes on the scene. And of course, he comes on the scene with his nemesis, Alexander Bustamante, who eventually emerges as something of a villain in the piece, you know, who kind of made it very difficult for the Federation to survive. But from 1945, the story then shifts to the Caribbean Labour Congress, and Norman Manley, Grantley Adams as the two leading men in the Caribbean Labour Congress. And of course, this was the end of the Second World War. A new Labour government had taken office in England, and that new Labour government finally was willing to meet the demands for, yes, we agree, there should be a federation. And so the new Labour government in 1947 decided to hold a conference in Montego Bay, where finally this matter would be put on the table, and there would be some resolution. So Grantley Adams and Norman Manley, they went on a speaking tour of the United States, where they raised money so that they could bring the whole Caribbean Labour Congress together in Jamaica for that very important conference with the British. And they held their preparatory conference in Kingston in 1947. And they came to some very firm demands. We are going to tell the British we want a federation, a political union, and we want Dominion status. Dominion status back then was basically independence. It was what the British had given to Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Newfoundland, and the Irish Free State. These were known as the White Commonwealth. So the British had given all of the white colonies, they'd basically given them independence. They call it Dominion status, full autonomy to express themselves as an independent nations. And so this is what the Caribbean Labour Congress demanded for the West Indian colonies. However, when the conference was held in Montego Bay in 1947, the British refused to give them. The British said, okay, we will agree with the federation, but we are not willing to agree to give you Dominion status, that is autonomy, virtual independence. So the federation will still have a colonial structure. And I think that was one of the fatal defects. And you have to ask yourself, why was the British government not willing to give the black West Indian colonies the same
as it did to the
status as the white? And then also, one of the reasons that Bustamante was given fuel to lead his anti-federation charge, at that conference Bustamante said, but you have to give us, you British government, if we are to embark on this federation, you have to give us substantial financial resources. And of course, you know, nowadays we talk about reparations, and we make the point that Britain really owed the Caribbean territories reparations, substantial reparations. And that was an occasion when the British really should have said, yes, we have exploited you for hundreds of years. Now that you are going to be making your way as a political union, we will give you significant resources. Britain did just the opposite. So so we went into the federation. Eventually it was launched in 1958. But we went in with two disabilities that we can blame the British for. It was not an independent federation. It was still a colonial structure. And the financial resources that it really should have been given from the very outset to properly finance it, Britain refused to give. So we went in, and then the story really shifts to those 4 years and what the federation accomplished. Grantley Adams ultimately became the Prime Minister. The Labour parties came together in 1956, and they formed a Caribbean-wide political party. Again, many people are not aware of this, but all the Labour parties came together and formed the West Indies Federal Labour Party. Norman Manley was the president. Grantley Adams was the vice president. That party, they had federal elections. That party won the federal elections, but Norman Manley was so fearful of Alexander Bustamante back in Jamaica because you had to make a choice.
Yes.
You either had to remain, within your local parliament and chief minister or premier of your own individual country, or you became a federal minister, a federal parliamentarian. So you had to choose. Norman Manley chose to remain local Jamaican, whereas Grantley Adams said, okay, since Norman will not accept the position, I will accept. I will give up being Premier of Barbados, and I will take on that position. And so the seats in the federal parliament were 17 to Jamaica, 10 to Trinidad, 5 to Barbados, 2 each to the smaller St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Grenada, etc., and one to Montserrat. So the Barbados Labour Party contested as part of the West Indies Federal Labour Party, and they won 4 of the 5 seats in Barbados. And again, these are names, these men who became federal parliamentarians: Gilmore Rochford, Victor Vaughan, Dighton Ward, who later became a Governor General of Barbados, of course, Grantley Adams. And then there was an independent who won one of the seats in Barbados, Florence Dish.
Yes.
A female, and no less a white female at that, a social worker. And to everybody's surprise, she defeated, the BLP candidate, and she won her seat. And so Barbados those were the Barbadians who went into the federal structure. And Barbados was entitled to appoint 2 senators, and Barbados chose Sir Archibald Duke and Dr. Arnold Cato as our 2 senators. And also, the federal parliament was entitled to select or elect a Speaker of the House, and they chose a Barbadian, Erskine Ward, later Sir Erskine Ward. So these are names of people who played very historic roles in that federation that lasted for 4 years, and that did have substantial accomplishments, but that ultimately ended in disaster.
So how did it end, really?
Oh, well, during the period of the Federation, there were all kinds of squabbles. So there was a squabble initially over where would the capital be. Initially, the British had said it should be in Barbados. It was Barbados, Trinidad, Jamaica. It ended up being in Trinidad. Then there were squabbles over should the Federation impose taxes on the local units? Jamaica felt that they were advancing. Their bauxite had come on stream, tourism had come on stream, and they began to feel the Federation might hold back their individual advancement. Then there was squabbles over whether there should be freedom of movement. So internally, there were these squabbles. Bustamante lost power in Jamaica. Norman Manley came to power, and then Bustamante began to use the issue of federation as a local political issue. So you prey on the people that these small islands from the Eastern Caribbean will become a drag on Jamaica, and these people will come and take Jamaican jobs, and Jamaica will be held back, and etc. And Jamaica can get independence without being part of this federation. And ultimately, all of that, those local politics in Jamaica led to Premier of Jamaica, Norman Manley, deciding to hold a referendum in Jamaica as to whether Jamaica should continue in the federation or not. That referendum was held in 1961, and 60% of the Jamaican electorate voted. 54% said no to federation, 46% said yes to federation. So it was a narrow loss for federation, and Jamaica announced it was pulling out. Once Jamaica announced it was pulling out, of course, the 2 big territories were Jamaica and Trinidad. Then Dr. Eric Williams in Trinidad, he said his mathematics was, 1 from 10 leaves naught. If Jamaica is pulling out, Trinidad is not willing to continue because it will be too big a strain on Trinidad. He announced that Trinidad will be pulling out as well. Grantley Adams, as Prime Minister of the Federation, he was urging the British government, look, you really have to consult with the federal government. Even in spite of these two pulling out, we can still find a way to preserve the Federation. But then, tragedy hit in Barbados as well. His Barbados Labour Party, they lost the election in December of 1961. So that weakened his position as well. And by January of 1962, the British government had decided to pull the plug on the Federation. So the Federation was dissolved. But we should not, and it was a great tragedy, but there were some achievements. So we should remember that a federal capital was constructed in Trinidad. We should remember that the St. Augustine campus of the University of the West Indies was established in 1960 under the Federation. We should recall that the Federation actually went to the Olympics in 1960 and won 2 bronze medals, including our James Wedderburn as part of the 4x4. We should also recall that BWIA, that it was the Federation that negotiated with the then British BOAC, British Overseas Airways, that is now British Airways, to acquire their subsidiary BWIA, that had become a Caribbean institution. And very importantly, the Federation had established a shipping company. They had been donated two vessels by the Canadian government, the Federal Maple and the Federal Palm. So the Federation actually set up a shipping company that plied maritime transportation up and down the island. So the Federation did have some significant achievements during its 4 years, but when it collapsed, it was a tragedy. I remember Gene Holder, the Barbadian Gene Holder, who was one of the federal civil servants. I remember him telling me how the tears, big men and women actually, shed tears because this was a collapse of all their dreams. That, there were so many hopes attached to this nation, this new nation of the Caribbean, the West Indies Federation, and all of those dreams and hopes had come to naught. So that is part of Black history, that is part of Caribbean history that we should always remember. One of our greatest achievements, but one of our greatest tragedies as well, when it all collapsed in 1962.
I sat quietly listening to you because it's such an interesting story of our time. One of the takeaways for me is that all of this was led by labor men, people for the people, who were interested in seeing the development of the people. And it wasn't led necessarily by lawyers and economists and the like. It was led by people, even though lawyers began to play a role as time developed. But it just shows the power, again, of people. And so we are at the cusp of time in the Caribbean as well, where we're now tasked with re-engaging once again with CSME, CARICOM and the like. How do you see the example of the Federation being used to further the advancement of CARICOM?
Well, because of that collapse in 1962 and the great disappointment, the dashing of hopes, the West Indies was at a very low point in 1962. And then we have to credit Mr. Errol Barrow, who really stepped forward. And in the midst of all of that despair and collapse, he then picked up the pieces. And he said, okay, let us try to rebuild this unity, but let us go the gradual route of economic integration. So, he conceptualized CRIFTA, the Free Trade Association that evolved into CARICOM. So ever since then, that is what we have been doing. We have been gradually trying to get back to that level of unity and those great hopes and aspirations that we had with the political union known as the West Indies Federation, but we have been trying to do it gradually. But what I would say is that we have now arrived with our CARICOM and our single market and single economy. We have now arrived at a position of maturity that did not exist back then. You see, some of the behavior that took place back then, and you can tell well that behavior was a product of British colonialism. The fact that a lot of these labor men had not had any experience of running governments because of British colonialism. Barbados was one of the more fortunate colonies. We had a House of Assembly from 1639. Many of the other colonies never had that experience of running electoral systems and being involved in local parliamentary governance and so forth. So some of the squabbles between them you could put down to lack of experience. Now, I mean, we have our leaders, statesmen and women, who have a maturity beyond that and know how to compromise, know how to see the bigger picture. So some of the things that brought down the federation, some of the internal differences where men were more uncompromising, would not happen today. So I would say yes, we have learned some of the lessons of what caused the failure, and we have matured beyond that now. But we have still never as great as CARICOM is, it is still not the political union, the nation, because that's what the federation was. We were one nation. CARICOM, we have much integration, but we are still not one nation. The federation had its own flag, its own anthem, its own capital. So the federation remains a symbol of the unity, of the status, let me say, not say the unity, because it was in fact beset by disunity that we still have to aspire to. But part of the lessons too is that the British, because if Britain had done the right thing, if they had given those financial resources, and in today's parlance we say reparations, and if they had not allowed this racist construct to shape their thinking, and the federation had been given dominion status, independent status from the outset, it would have survived. So those are lessons we need to, as Bajans say, pick sense from that as well,
Ambassador Boy, this has been a really rich session indeed, and thank you so much for sharing this with us. So to bring it back to our four, those who did not know, you get to know for the first time as well, and I hope that in schools, information like this becomes a part of the everyday conversations, part of the everyday teaching, because lest we tell, no one will know.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pearson.
You're welcome. Mornin Barbados continues in just a moment. Oh, hold on. Ambassador, you thought you got away. What's your pet peeve?
Water outages.
Mine too.
I live in Warren's, basically Warren's area in St. Thomas. So especially during the dry season,
yes,
we do get some of these water outages, and oh man, it's such an inconvenience.
Yes, it truly is.
Inconvenience.
You go to work and you come home and wait, there's no water. That can really peeve your spirit. Thank you so much again, Ambassador.
My pleasure. Ambassador
David Comchon, Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM, sharing with us this morning on some of the early labor men, as this is Black History Month and we need to know our history. Now I think you know better. We're coming right back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day, and join.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Don't forget, I'm taking your calls on what is your pet peeve. The number is simple, 228-5562 or 228-5563. What is your pet peeve? What is it that really ticks you off? What is that thing? Call me 228-5562 or 228-5563. You can also make that comment on our Facebook chat window. So go in there, you can chat right away and tell me what your pet peeve really is. I'd love to hear from you. We've heard about the people who do not indicate at all when they're turning either left or right when they're driving. We've heard of those who indicate at the last minute. We've heard that you need to do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. We've heard of the pet peeve of those of you who forget to turn down the volume on your radio or your television when you're engaging with the call-in program. So that really had my good Marva real upset. We've heard of the water outages, coming home to water outages. Those are pet peeves of others. But what is yours? 228-5562 or 228-5563. You will call me, please, and you will let me know what your pet peeve is. Also, remember, you can put it on your Facebook page and let us know what that pet peeve is. Still to come, we'll meet that young, fine artist who's doing some phenomenal work. He's exhibiting as part of that big exhibition being hosted by We Gathering, the committee there in St. Peter. That exhibition is upstairs in Republic Bank in Speightstown in the library. And what a place really to be able to showcase some of the great work of Barbadians, particularly those of St. Peter, roots and culture, a whole lot more being shown there. Remember, this in the month of February is Heritage, and so St. Peter is taking time to share with you their heritage, the places and the people and the things that have made them outstanding over generations. And perhaps it's a good time for you to also make a trip into Speightstown, across the parish of St. Peter broadly, and not just to the scenic spots as you know them. Get into the little nooks and crannies. Get to understand when you hear Boscobel, where did that name come from? Where is that? Get to know a whole lot more. We'll take this call. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Yes, please.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well.
Good. Who's calling and where are you watching us from?
I'm Althea. I'm watching from St. Philip.
Hello, Althea of St. Philip. How is the morning so far for you?
It's okay.
Good,
Nice
Althea.
and cool.
Nice and cool.
Yes, please.
You love those breezes, nah?
Yes, please.
So, Althea, what is your pet peeve?
My pet peeve is young people. When
Why?
you speak to them, when they don't say, yes, please.
Oh, you want to hear us practice those courtesies of saying yes, please, as opposed to no, but no, please, or may I have this, please? Those kinds of things.
And then you ask them something and they say, morning or yes.
I know what you
They
mean.
just say yes.
Yes, I know what you mean. But you know that comes down. It is, but that comes down in a lot of ways to also to parenting.
That is true.
You know, for me, with my godchildren, you can't slip up and not say please. You have to say please.
Well,
you know.
me too.
There you go. I'm with you, Althea. I am with you all the way. Thank you so much for your call, Althea, okay? And continue watching us and tell everybody you know about Morning Barbados, okay?
Sure, for
Good
sure.
girl. Thank you, Althea.
Okay.
You're our
Have a
marketer
good
from
one.
today. Have a good day indeed. It's 9 minutes now to go to 7 o'clock as we turn our attention to a book called Going Home. And I think this book is so interesting because it is poignant for the time in which we live, and particularly for people of the diaspora who are from Barbados, from the Caribbean, and anywhere else in the world who are now under the threat of deportation. But what is the book Going Home really truly about? The author joins us now. She is born in London, raised in Barbados, now living in Georgia. Good morning to you, Natasha Mon.
Good morning. How are you doing this fine, fabulous morning?
If my sound technician can help me, I'll hear you. But it's good to hear you. How do you do?
I'm great. I am so psyched about this opportunity to talk about going home, to be on Morning Barbados. I can remember watching this on my way getting ready for school. I can remember Morning Barbados. So right now I'm, fangirling a little bit.
It is good to have you indeed on the show. So talk to me a little bit about Going Home and what this book is about.
Well, it's crazy. I wrote Going Home in 2015 when Trump first began his presidential campaign. And I am not known as an author. This was my first time writing a book, and I believe that it was a response to how I felt about what he was saying, the things that he was inferring and saying directly about immigrants and people that weren't, quote unquote, born in America.
Mm-hmm.
So to let people to express what I was feeling, I wrote this book. I would say, person, in about 2, maybe 3 weeks, I wrote this book, and it didn't get the traction that I wanted at first. However, with his unfortunate return to power and the presidency of the United States, it has become even more on point and even more poignant now than before, because he's actually going through with the deportations that he had threatened his first go around. And that is precisely what the book Going Home is about.
It's not a book of instructions about what to do. It's a story. And so
Yes.
Whose story are you telling?
Okay, so the book is centers around an African-American family during a time of real racial, problems and issues worldwide. The worldwide is going through a lot of racial tension, and during this time, the family suffers a tragedy. They lose a family member, and that creates an environment where the world comes together to create an international council for peace. And this international council for peace decides that all people must return to their country of origin worldwide. Everyone needs to go back to their starting points, and let's just stop with the immigration and that kind of stuff. However, they like that plan, But in America, America is founded from immigrants. So people that they don't expect or think should have to leave get the papers saying that they need to leave. So it's the response, the Native American response, the response of those that believe that they have a stake in America, where people go, what they do when they hear that they need to go back. Who is an immigrant? How far back should this go? All these questions are answered in the book, and the storyline is incredible. The way the stories come together, and you start to learn about different cultures and what people think and how people, what makes them tick. That's where the true story and the human interaction that comes into the book and the characters were going home.
It's also wrapped up in a lot of emotions, how you feel, first of all, about knowing that you're going to be uprooted, feeling about the way that you're going to be leaving the things with which you'd become familiar behind, and now going back to a place, though that's where you're from, that is different. So how did you navigate those emotions?
Well, this is supposed to be the first book. I'm planning, and I've actually started writing the sequel, and this particular book deals a lot with the disbelief that everything that I have built in this place that I call home, someone's going to come in and uproot it, take me from it, and send me to a situation that I don't know. To give you an example, because we follow a couple of stories. We have a main central story, but we follow a couple of stories. And one of the stories is a couple who believe that they have to go back to North Korea, and the fear of going from the freedoms that they have in America to North Korea, and what that means and what that entails. Realizing that there are a lot of refugees, a lot of people coming from situations that are not pleasant, that are not something that they want to return to, and you have this idea of it's not me, it's you, and this idea of it sucks to be you. I'm sorry that this is happening to you, but hold on a minute, it's happening to me too. I'm in the I have to uproot as well. So I think right now, what's happening in America is a lot of people are being caught in the net that they didn't think that they were going to be caught in the net. And it's crazy that that's happening, because that's exactly what I'm saying in the book that I wrote 10 years ago. A lot of people are being caught in the net and being, ICE is coming for you. And you were like, but hold on a minute. I voted for Trump. This isn't what I signed up for. Why am I the one that you're coming for? But that's life. That's what it's gonna happen.
For a lot of people, it's a tragedy, but maybe it's an opportunity. It depends on your point of view, how you choose to look at it. And so I just thought it's so prophetic that in 2015 you wrote a book about now, and here you are. Maybe you're blessed, but here you are now. So for those who want to be able to turn those pages to read about what you wrote about, how can they access Going Home?
Going Home is available on Amazon. I also have a website, goinghomemedia.com, but it is available on Amazon. Like I said, goinghomemedia.com. You can also contact me directly. I would love to speak to you. I'm available on Instagram, under Going Home Media, and it's affordable. It's a quick read. It's not a long book, but it is something that will have you hooked from the beginning to the end.
Oh, I'm sure. I am absolutely sure. I'm watching you, and I'm saying that you're using your national colors, blue and yellow, and all of those things. I
was hoping you would see and realize that no matter where I go in this world, Barbados is my roots. That's where I am. I grew up there. I went to Charles F. Broome. I went to Harrison College. I used to dance with Dance Machine, do the crop over events. So Barbados is my home, no matter what it says on my address. So yes, I'm going to represent.
I love it. And that makes me so proud, really, of you and all that you've achieved and all that you continue to do, that you unapologetically stand and say, I am Barbadian. That's my home. Though you were born in London.
Yes, I was. I used to tell people that was a geographical anomaly, but Barbados is where where it's at. That is home for me.
So how do you maintain this home feel for you in Georgia?
I have. Oh wow. I literally just said goodbye to my in-laws. They're just on their way back to Barbados today. Actually, they brought me the pone. I've got black cake, Morby. I could get Shirley's. So I get all these little things. Yeah, there's some place that could get a Banks beer if I need to. So yes, there are little places that allow me to feel as though I am still home, unless of course it's snowing outside.
Yes.
But we're not going to talk about that. And the Barbados Association of Georgia, they also bring that home feel as well, but there are different events and that.
Wow. Natasha, you are an amazing Barbadian. Thanks for the book, by the way, and thank you for being so rich in who you are, knowing who you are, solid about who you are, and happy to share that with the rest of the world. Your book is very, very instructional for a lot of people who are now under the threat of ICE visits, and it's good for them to pick up and read. So to all of our North American viewers as well, remember the book is called Going Home. You can find it on Amazon. Natasha Mon. If you look at your screen, you can see just there at the back of her the poster that tells you her name, Natasha Mon. Find the book there, or goinghomemedia.com is where you can actually go and order the book as well. It is good for you to pick up the book and read. And for those of you in Barbados as well, don't be shy, get the book. Turn the pages and see and live the journey, the emotional journey of many, because it's not easy when it happens to you. Natasha Mon, thank you so much for joining us. I wish you well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Have a fantastic day. I love you all.
Thank you, Natasha Mon, indeed. Morning Barbados takes a break. We're coming back with the news in a moment.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it. Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it. Bajan to the bone. Weekdays, right here and only here on 94.7.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're 4.5 minutes after 7 o'clock. Let's take a look at some news now. In the next few weeks, Barbadians can expect to see increased roadworks across the country. Word of this from Acting Prime Minister and the Minister of Transport and Works, Santia Bradshaw. Last year, roadworks began under the Mill and Pave program on roads that did not require major rehabilitation.
Over the last few months, we've spent a lot of time at MTWs doing the assessments on a number of roads across the island. Many of these roads have come up out of complaints on social media. They've come about as a result of representations from the members of parliament. Also in relation to Parish Speaks, which has served as a vehicle to be able to raise awareness about a number of roads across Barbados that are in dire need of rehabilitation. And we've taken all of that into account. And across the various programs, we've placed a number of these roads so that we can start again in the dry season a number of roadworks programs across the entire island. So while we have works ongoing in the Scotland district, we also have works going on in relation to the CAF program as well.
Minister Bradshaw says a new set of work began yesterday in Charleston Avenue and Freehill in St. Michael. She says this is the beginning of an accelerated program of work, which in some cases will be complex work and will require drainage and other road improvements. Other roads will be straightforward mill and pave.
We are still playing catch up in terms of the amount of work that is required to reconstruct and to rehabilitate our roads. But what the ministry has determined is that once we assess the roads, we start to prioritize the category into which those roads are placed, and then we are able systematically to be able to assign those works to contractors to be able to have the volume of road rehabilitation taking place over the next few months. So again, heightened activity over the next few months. Yes, there will be disruption. Yes, there will be diversions, but the end result, as you saw last year with the Mill and Pave program, is that the end result is that Barbadians and certainly all visitors to the island will have a smoother access across the road network of the country.
A church is throwing its support behind the reopening of the Ama Paris School, now named the Ama Paris Academy. Rector of St. Peter Parish Church, Canon Peter Haynes, says that the church is open to the possibility of assisting the school with its music program and in other ways. He was speaking at a soft launch to mark the reopening of the plant, which was closed in 2017.
And we stand ready to assist you in your music program especially. That's where we can help. We have, and hopefully we can get something working. We've got some sort of funding also available. Someone has promised us some funding towards instruments if we need them in various areas so that we can go forward. If you want to bridge with us and work alongside us, we can develop something meaningful here at the Ama Paris School with St. Peter and what we know as music.
At the same time, Canon Haynes is asking the school's management to encourage the students to stay away from activities in Speightstown that they should not get involved in.
You're not in St. George or down in St. Lucie, you are in the midst of Speightstown, and Speightstown is no longer a dead place. Speightstown is living and is always moving. It has its attractions and people are always in and out of Speightstown. And the students must be reminded of this, that there are traps along Speightstown that they ought not to get involved in.
Enriching with learning opportunities. That's how newly appointed tourism liaison officer at the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association described her appointment. Shade Dean says she's responsible for translating external needs into business benefits for BHTA members and assisting with the process of facilitating any international adjustments or changes necessary to support the industry.
After my initial assessment over months, we now have a number of programs planned, some of which we have already started to prepare for. These include information and demonstration sessions with stakeholders, as well as projects to improve the emergency management response levels among our members, to strengthen our environmental sustainability efforts, and to enhance our connections with communities and the nonprofit sector.
Well, former intern Kemuel Burke is the new administrative office assistant and says he's responsible for enhancing the administrative efficiency of the association. Starting now as a full-time staffer is not like a new experience, but returning to work after a long weekend.
The last few months have been both dynamic and rewarding. Not only am I contributing to the services the association provides to its members, but I'm also developing my organizational, communication, and teamwork skills while deepening my understanding of the tourism and hospitality industry.
The police are seeking your assistance in locating Kadeem O'Brien Clark, his alias Frog. He is wanted for questioning in connection with serious criminal matters. Clark, whose last known address is Johnson Road, Workman St. George, is approximately 5 feet 11 inches tall, dark complexion, slim build. He is advised that he can present himself to the Criminal Investigations Department at Station Hill, accompanied by an attorney at law. Now, anyone who may know of his whereabouts can contact the CID at 430-7242 or 430-7270 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-8477. The 2025 Cooperators General Insurance BABA Premier League bounced off with 4 big games at the BCC Gym on Sunday, and among the early winners were defending champions Burger King Clapham Bulls and 246 Mobile Shop City United. Here's a look at those matches.
Defending champions Bulls have sent the message out early. They are aiming to keep that title and came in red hot against Lakers as the season bounced off over the weekend. A key march with the dunk that sent them into the half, up 48-32. And Bulls just kept the pressure on and extended that lead. Rashid Maynard going for a big one and sinks it. Lakers were pretty much playing catch-up all game, but when all hands were on deck, the baskets were accomplished. Finishing the play there was Scott Wharton. The Bulls were firing at all cylinders. Maynard, the man again to pull the trigger. Just to show you how much on point they were, Maynard gets the rebound and goes for the long pass. Almost out of court, Anton Winter gets a hand to it, and there is Marsh to deliver a floating 3. Undoubtedly, the boys in red were in all-star mode. Backed up by teamwork like clockwork at the end of the third, Bulls had a 33-point lead, 75-42. Lakers did have their shining moments, albeit in the losing cause. Keith Burkett nailing this one. Lakers played their best game in the final quarter. Burkett with another 3. But the writing was pretty much on the wall, as Simeon Maynard was the man who led their charge, here with 2 of his game-high 21 points. Bulls totally dominated Lakers to start their title defense on a winning note. The final buzzer goes as they take the 30-point win, 98-68. And just like Bulls, City United in the pink dominated their opening game with the Cavs after 26-15 first quarter lead. In this, the second with all hands on deck, that lead was maintained. Theo Greenwich comes up big and salutes his supporters. On the counter-attack, the Cavs showed they had what it takes to come up big too. Just inside with a nice long-range basket was Zachary Cave. But City were in the driver's seat. Markelly Downey pulls the trigger and it's effective. 3 to the cause as City had a 43-36 lead in the half. On the back foot now and shooting up court, Cavs tighten their defense. Watch the steal and Devron Knight is the man to go coast to coast. Cavs trying to keep it as tight as possible. We're heading back down court, City in control again, and out the far corner to land another 3 to the tally is Downey. Actually, the 3-pointers kept coming. This time is the Ronnie Hurley to bank it. City and the third up by 7. So it was still anyone's game for the taking. Cavs steal and they're on the break. Stefan Otley shakes the defenders. It's off the rim, but right there to mop it up is Adriel Brathwaite. But City would not relinquish that lead. This time it's Kazarian Adams from the arc. And from here, City went into overdrive. Hurley to Greenwich. Big money deposited. The game is about to be put to rest. The clock ticks down. Otley with one last attempt, but it won't be. City United takes first dibs for the season, beating the Cavs 81-75. Local basketball is just about heating up.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. Well, also claiming opening wins were Pinelands over NSC Combined Schools Trident 78-71. Warren's All-Star also defeated CAM Camp Smart Insurance Heat by 17 points, 85-68. That's a look at news until now. We'll have more news coming up at 12 noon on CBC TV8. Morning Barbados comes back right after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it. Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it. Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Approaching 90 minutes now after 7, I asked you the question early o'clock, what is your pet peeve? and you've been responding. Thank you so much for your responses as well. You can also give me a call on 228-5562 or 228-5563. Now, Marcia Rock says her pet peeve is listening to the way that some of our young people try to make their children being their friends. No, that thing is blocking me there. Okay. And not parenting them. So if you have that challenge, maybe that's the one that Marcia is also upset about, trying to make your children your friend when your children are just your children. Estelita Pyle says, people calling other people big man. It irks her. Hey, big man. Listen, I was at a store on the weekend and there was browsing with my godsons and this man, dads. I said, I'm not your father. You can't call me dads. If you don't know my name, just say sir. Dads. No. So those are some of the things. What are your pet peeves? What are your pet peeves? Give us a call. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Dads. No, 228-5562 or 228-5563. What are your pet peeves? What are they? What is it that ticks you off? One, as we heard earlier today, was you're approaching a turn and you did not indicate at all. You just turned and the person behind you is obviously quite peeved at the fact that you never indicated that you meant to turn. Another one is people ask you a question before saying morning or evening. They think that's very, very rude. Vereen? So I have to say, good morning, Vereen. May I ask you a question? Or can I just ask you a question? She doesn't like when you just ask the question. So without indicating or indicating too late, without, when you're asked to turn your volume down because you've called a call-in program and the volume is still up and excessive. And this lady was thinking, after all these years, surely you must know that when you call, turn down the volume and just listen to your telephone. So why is it that after all this time you still don't know? So those are some pet peeves. Continue to gather them and we'll continue to share them with it as well. So, as we're celebrating in this month of February, Black History Month, I want to share with you now someone who you need to know about as a black pioneer in the region. Take a look. And this one, guys keep doing. I told you I cannot see from this distance as well. So thank you. This is about Cyril Lionel Robert James. What a name, otherwise known as CLR James, who was born on the 4th of January, that makes him a Capricorn, well done, in 1901 in Port of Spain, Trinidad, and was educated at the Queen's Royal College. He worked in the fields of journalism, academia, and politics, but was particularly concerned with black independence movements and the politics of colonialism. In 1938, he published his influential book, The Black Jacobins, Toussaint Louverture, and the Santo Domingo Revolution, which is a study of slave revolts that led to the independence of Haiti. And you know his works because we would have seen his works if you studied English literature at secondary level. So we now know of who CLR James is, and so he is one who we are celebrating this Black History Month here in the Caribbean, and particularly on Morning Barbados. All right? I'm going to give him a chance to run off the floor to come back to me in just a moment as he makes all sorts of adjustments. And remember to continue calling, continue writing. Let's talk Black history and let's talk about your pet peeves. I'm going to turn my attention now to something I told you about at the beginning of the show, which is that there are some colleges in Canada that are offering boarding opportunities, but wonderful academic programs as well. So we're going to turn now to Rebecca De Silva, who is the Associate Director of Admissions at Trinity College in Canada. Rebecca, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for asking. How do you do?
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Listen, you're in Barbados at the right time.
Always the right time to be in Barbados.
I love it. Always the right time. Yes. That's a slogan we have to use. Always the right time in Barbados. So here it is. You're here ahead of tomorrow. You're having a big open session where you're engaging with all of us about the educational opportunities, but the boarding opportunities as well. Talk to me about what we can expect tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. So we are hosting an Ontario, Canada boarding school fair. So students that are in primary or secondary school currently that are looking for an experience abroad in grades 7 to 12, they would be well suited to come out and just learn a bit more about what boarding schools are like in Canada. Yeah.
Are all boarding schools the same, or are there certain boarding schools for certain kinds of academic teaching?
Yeah, I think that for the schools that are going to be at the fair tomorrow night, we're all CASE schools. So we're Canadian Accredited Independent Schools. So in terms of the standard of boarding, that is similar across the board. But each school, I like to say, has its own flavor. I think while you will find great academic programs and co-curriculars and service learning opportunities, how those schools do that, the makeup of the number of students and boarding students and day, where they're located, all those things really add to the flavor and the differences of those schools.
Let's talk about the experience, though, because you hear boarding school, you think, oh boy, that means I live in. So what else happens in a boarding school that would excite a Barbadian child or Barbadian parent to have their child experience it?
Yeah, I think for students coming from Barbados, and from our school, we've had students coming from Barbados for 50 years. So I think having that Canadian experience, meeting students from all over the world, some of our schools have students from 40 countries. So that cultural experience is a really big piece. Learning away from home and learning that independence, gaining those skills, those life skills that are really going to serve you well as an adult. Might not excite a child right now, but something that they're really going to benefit from in a boarding environment.
So it's more than just the book and chalk and so forth. It is a cultural experience as well that you're nurturing at the boarding schools. So for those who are coming tomorrow to tomorrow's open session, what should they come prepared to engage with you with? Because is it that I bring the child, I come with the child's report card so that you can see whether or not this child could qualify? What is it that you want them to come with?
Yeah, I think coming with a lot of questions. I think no matter where a family is, like maybe they've never considered a boarding school, maybe they're well in their journey in terms of like looking at options abroad. I think coming with a lot of great questions and using us as resources in terms of like finding out what, if a student is really interested in soccer and robotics, like what schools are able to offer that and where can they grow maybe in competencies or things that they're excited about that they haven't had the opportunity to do. A lot of our schools offer quite robust financial assistance programs as well. So I think that that's a really important factor when a family is considering such a large investment, looking at a boarding school. And I think also having that direct flight to Toronto is a really important piece as well. Knowing that they're only a short plane ride away, then they can come home on longer weekends and breaks as well. It is indeed important.
Classroom sizes and the like, because you don't want, in Barbados it's one thing to have our children, we know because they're so accessible. But then when you're far away, I want to know that they're safe. I want to know that they're learning in an environment that encourages them and not discourages them. So talk to me a little bit more about that lived experience at the schools and the colleges for which you have some responsibility.
Yeah, I think you make such a valid point that you want them to live those experiences and step outside of their comfort zone. Small class sizes you will find, but we talk more about the student to teacher ratio as well. And in most of our schools, that's 8-to-1. So being in a boarding school, about a third of our faculty live on campus. Right. So they're living in residence with the students as well. They're their coaches on the field. They're that connection and that nurturing piece that they're seeing not just in the academic day, but what that looks like on weekends as well. And I think that when a student is in boarding school, having that feeling of home away from home and that parent away from parent, that dads, as you say, is an important piece, right?
Indeed it is. Oftentimes okay, help me understand, because there are schools for different needs. Are the colleges that are going to be at tomorrow's session, are they also colleges for different needs?
So we offer the high school diploma. So a student coming from Barbados would be graduating in Ontario with the high school diploma. A lot of the schools offer academic support above and beyond that. So for students that English is a second language, or they are struggling to get by in certain subjects, those supports are available there for students as well. But it's the Ontario diploma you're working towards.
Okay.
Yes.
That makes it so much easier. So when is it and where is it?
Yeah, so it's tomorrow evening, Wednesday, February 5th at the Accra Hotel, and it's from 6 to 8 p.m.
At the Accra from 6 until 8 p.m. tomorrow, and anyone can come. Anyone who believes this child needs the experience, not just the experience, but the education and the detailed work, because it's 1 to 8, one teacher to 8 students. So you're really getting focused attention. These colleges are available to you. And how many will be there with you tomorrow? How many colleges will
there are 4 boarding schools there, yes.
There are 4 boarding schools, and which are they?
The Albert College, Trinity College, Lakefield, and Appleby.
So something tells me people are going to be Googling, trying to read about them themselves. Those 4 boarding schools will be there. And so we want you to be there early o'clock. It starts at 5. They're only 3 hours, but it's engaging. You have an opportunity to sit across and ask the questions which you'd like to have answers to. But most of all, you get to see in real time whether or not your child, this is the best environment for your child. And I'm sure the colleges will say to you, yes, these are the best experiences for your child. But we want you to be comfortable knowing that these colleges are working on your child's behalf, so that when you invest in having them further their education there, then you know for sure that they're going to come up with the knowledge that you're seeking. Now, where do students go to university after attending your colleges?
Yeah, so after they graduate from high school, a lot of them choose to stay in Canada and go to Canadian universities. And there's a handful that choose to go to the United States. Some go over to the UK and to Europe. It really depends. I think what the important thing is that our guidance counselors really work with the student to make sure that, you know, whatever path that they're wanting to go forward on, that they're supporting them with that and making sure that they're getting the right credits and courses, and maybe exploring pathways that they might not have considered. I think that's really important.
I say let them stay. Yeah. Let them stay. You know, because our natural thing here is to bring them home, let them come back to me. No, let them stay. Let them continue to have that experience, that opportunity that provides in a large cosmopolitan city. And that's what Ontario truly is. And so we want you to come tomorrow to the Accra Beach Hotel for 5 until 8 o'clock to experience all of this, get all your answers to all of your questions indeed. And so, Rebecca, is there anything else that you would want our viewers to be mindful of in making this decision about where to place their child?
I think it's a really big decision, and I'm sure parents are aware of that, but I think it's also really important for the student to have a voice in this process, and really, you know, do that research, look into schools, what do they want to do, and really be in the driver's seat too, right? I think that's really important piece for students to be just as involved as parents.
And that's such a big reminder. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Rebecca De Silva, who is responsible for administration with Trinity. Rebecca, I have one question for you, our question of the day.
Okay.
What is your pet peeve?
I would have to say people not putting away their shopping carts. It's such a small thing.
Listen,
just put it away.
Yes. They leave it there and wait for you to move it. And I'm in total agreement with you. Move it. I did that once at a supermarket and the lady looked at me as if I was speaking Dutch.
Yeah.
You know, all of a sudden says, ma'am, is this yours? Could you move it, please? And, you know, after some time, she grudgingly did so. So I'm just like you.
Oh, it's such a moral issue.
Yes, yes, it's yours. Take full responsibility for it and move it. Come on, man. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you. So I share your pet peeve with you. Morning Barbados, it's a break. We're coming back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game with dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
20 minutes now to go to 8 o'clock. I think this young man is so good. I mean, so good. His name is Dwayne Sandiford. He's a fine artist. And he's with me right now. Dwayne, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, sir.
Listen, I think you are so good. I'm sure you hear people say that to you all the time.
Yes. I'm getting a bit accustomed to it, you know.
But it's taken a little time to get to where you are. Talk to me about your beginning in the work that you do.
Well, I started drawing from as early as I can remember, age 4. You know, my earliest memory of art was just watching my mom draw this wheel for me for this coloring book, and my dad, at the time when he was present, he just did these sketches, and my uncle. And from there, I just fell in love for some reason. It always got me attention. It always got me into it, and I just sat there as a little boy, 4 years old, just marveling at these little drawings. And from there, you know, I saw my dad, you know, building houses in like a week or so, and I was like, damn. You know, then it just hit me at age 4 that, you know, I want to draw for the rest of my life. And from there, watching my dad build the houses and rent them out, I was like, you know what, just maybe I could go into business too at age 4. From there, I decided, well, I got older, and my mom and dad split, you know, and I ended up going elsewhere with moms, and my dad went the other direction when it comes to the law and stuff. So I always hear, man, you can be just like your father, you this, you that, you look just like your father, you cross like this, da da da. And I was like, damn, well, you know what? How it was for me, it was like a crossroads or a T-junction where you got left and right. So instead of me deciding that, you know what, I'ma prove them right and be just like dad. I ain't had a correct example as into right or wrong, but I knew what wrong was. I saw what my dad was doing was wrong, and I was like, you know what? I'ma just go, you know, the right direction. I'ma do the complete opposite, whether or not that puts me in a place where I stumble and make a few mistakes, but at least I know I ain't going that direction. Shout out to my dad though. You know, he still, despite he wasn't there and incarcerated for a while, he still laid a foundation where I see negative. He put it out there, and I took advantage of that.
Wow. I like the fact that at 4 years old, you say, I'm going to be drawing for the rest of my life.
The rest of my life, yes, sir.
My word. And so, what did that mean for you then? That you had to go study art, or did you take art seriously while you were in school, or anything like that?
Yes, believe it. Listen, when I was at primary school, All Saints Primary School, shout out.
St. Peter man.
Yes. All Saints Primary School. Miss Grosvenor, and because I was in the special needs, I was a sickly child, and you know, costly and seizures and stuff. I was in the hospital, and I had this guy, this one guy named I can remember him clearly, Ruben Hope. He was there, just drawing, and you know, he was good at that time because he was a little bit older than me. I remember I was just doodling at the time because I told you before I was drawing.
Yes.
And he was like, "Man, you trace that. You ain't as good as me." And the other guys just joined, having little conversations. And I got home now, because for me, it didn't come, yes, God gave me the gift, but it wasn't naturally. They didn't have that with the cross. I didn't have that technical ability. So while everybody else was drawing and getting this thing like this, me, I went home. You said, Trey, I said, all right, go home. You see, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, up sketching and drawing. I come back to school, that's it, dude. He look at me again, yo, my mind getting good, yeah. He said, man, you still Trey? I said, all right, Trey, I said, back home again.
Yes.
Do that there from primary school straight to secondary school. You know, and I guess keep pushing it because I wasn't a guy who had that academic abilities like most where, you know, the math came easy, the science came easy to me. Yes, I had interest in business, but, you know, the academic side was never me, you know, but so I just pushed art. I drew, and they would call me the sad kid due to my background and stuff, but I just worked hard on my art. I sorry didn't work even harder though, and yeah.
But I mean, we have a prop here. We brought along your easel with some of the work that you do and some of the work you're continuing to do. And so, what fascinates you most to draw? Is it people, landscape, objects? What is it?
Listen,
everything.
Everything. It doesn't matter. I draw a person, place, or thing. It does not matter. I look at God as the greatest artist, the greatest creator, and the fact that I can at least 95%, you know, create what he created, what he made, you know, to like almost be a 95% replication of it. You know, I'm just fascinated by that.
And I'm fascinated by what you do and how you do what you do. And so you've opened up your business doing Sandyford art.
Doing Sandyford art, yes, please.
So
so that is just me for
your branding.
Yes, please.
I'm so proud of you so far doing. And now your work is on exhibition for Regathering in St. Peter.
Yes,
that must mean so much to you.
Yes, thanks to Petra Haynes. I'm the resident artist, and she also gave me the opportunity to become the what's the name? The attendant of the exhibition.
Nice.
But outside of that, what I do majority of my time is I give back to my community, and I work closely with, I work on the Community Development Fine Arts Program, funded by the Community Development, and the Ministry of Youth recently launched Project Dawn. And I brought some pieces by some of my students that recently won. I sent them an IFCA, and they won some awards themselves.
Well done, Dwayne, well done.
They got my mentor, Dwayne Mears. He saw me from age 12 or younger, and my mom, she recently passed, but my mom saw Dwayne in the supermarket. She worked at Jordan Supermarket at the time, and it was like, my son really liked to draw, and she was able to pay for my drawing lessons with Dwayne through this program on her minimum wage. And she made sure that I got my airbrush, my little pencils for $3 store. Whatever she could afford, she sent. You know, and Dwayne, he saw me, he knew of my story with my father and stuff, and he decided that he's going to stay close. And since then, since 12 years old, he's a coordinated program and has not left me since. In 2021, I got the contract, and I just took it and run with it.
And the rest is history.
Yes,
this is fantastic. Now, looking at the pieces that you brought here on the easel, I see Clement Armstrong.
Yes, sir.
People call him the mayor of Speightstown, so to speak.
The mayor of
But your work is so real to life. It looks 3D. Yes. And how do you do that?
You want to know what funny joke is? I cannot see 3D due to my cross-eye.
Yeah?
Yes, I cannot see what you see. So whatever you're telling me how my work look right now, I would never know.
You take my word for it.
I would just take your word for it.
You see the full mass of the man as opposed to some paint on paper.
Yeah.
You know, where it looks flat.
Yes, please.
But there's life in the work. And the little young man, is that you?
Yeah, that's me. This is the piece that won me gold at NIFCA. Believe it or not, my first time entering NIFCA and won me gold.
Wow.
Yeah. So
you, as I said at the beginning, this man is so good, indeed. So you're able to do all of that, and in cases that you just take a still photograph and from it you draw.
Yes, please. So I just go take the photo and put it on my tablet, as you can see here, and I just start working.
You want to do some work for me?
Not a problem, sir.
Not me, because I may not like the representation of me that you put down. But so what are you going to do for us now?
I'm gonna just show y'all
how it goes.
Okay. You know, this is my setup. This is where it starts.
Right.
This piece is incomplete. This is a completed piece. But
Clement Armstrong is incomplete?
This is incomplete. This is
what else do you plan to do with that?
This is, I got a whole lot of detail to finish in the glasses, in the face. I got to finish the shirt and the hat.
Oh my word.
As you can see in my self-portrait, you have details down to the eyebrows, the eyes, the fingers, every wrinkle, every pimple. It's called hyperrealism.
All there, but it's real to life.
Exactly.
All right, folks, we're in for an award-winning performance now from Dwayne Sandiford, who is himself quite accomplished. He's on exhibition right now in the library in Speightstown, which is upstairs of the Republic Bank in Speightstown. He is almost the artist in residence there, and so he is there for the entire month of February. So you must go see his work. Go ahead, you can go ahead. I'm just talking to keep company.
No problem. All right, so
what's that stick in your hand for?
This is my mouse stick to help me, because what happens is when you touch the piece, that's what you obviously artists say, do not touch the pieces, because your oils from your skin is not archival quality. So this paper is 100% cotton, archival quality, and you're not allowed to touch it, not even myself as the artist.
Okay.
So I use this to keep my hand from contacting.
From touching. Oh, okay,
Right.
I got you.
Normally have a black glove. They call me the artist in all black, but I don't have the black glove today. I have my mouse stick. So my technique is a bit different. It's a bit of a dry painting technique, more so than
the wet paint.
A wet paint. In order to get the soft, realistic look, the hyperrealism look, I use a mixture of charcoals and some detail pencils. So let me show you real quick. Just a quick demo.
Okay. He's going to take his time. He's going to show this to us. Go ahead, do your thing.
Come close if you want, you know.
Do it. They tell me sit back, so I'm sitting back. I don't want to block you see.
Okay, no problem.
And on the tablet, that's what you're drawing from?
Yes, please.
Okay, the photograph is on the tablet, and then from that he will finish the piece by Clement Armstrong, and in his usual character, but you've captured the essence of it so very well. There it is.
Yes.
I can see it on the tablet, and it's very, very true to form.
Yes. So, believe it or not, when I went, I didn't notice that outside was too bright. So I just went because he was hustling. I took the photo, but it was overexposed.
Right.
So then I had to go back in the studio and redesign the plaid in the shirt and the hat, the design in the hat. So yeah. So what I'm going to do now is, I don't know if y'all can see, but I have some charcoal in front. And I just use, it's normally sitting obviously.
Go ahead. Right, cool. Do you know, we're here. We are here. We want to see you in action, you at work. Dwayne Sandiford is his name. And of course, if you've never heard of his name, you can see his work here on Mornin Barbados, but you can see his work in the library in Speightstown, upstairs of the Republic Bank. They're all part of Regathering in St. Peter. He's on exhibition for the rest of the month. But he's accessible, and he's ready to respond to any of your requests and bookings as well. He can make your life you come alive. And there it is. You can see the still shot of what he would have done before. But he continues now to touch up this image of Clement Armstrong, which he's doing. He's doing it from his tablet, but he's doing it with dry art, as he says. You know, it's not wet, it's not watercolor, but he's just using it beautifully. And as you can see, it's very 3D. It feels as if Clement is literally there coming off the paper, and that is a skill. That is truly a skill, to be able to see the depth of the person in painting. These are very gentle strokes you're doing, right?
Yes, yes. So you don't want to be too rough.
But you make mistakes, don't you?
Sometimes.
And when that happens, you have to start all over again?
Listen, the mistake I made that Mr. Clement broke Mr. Armstrong's heart. The original drawing I did, or painting, it got wet. I took it home. Normally I treat these things like gold. I don't take them home. I keep them in the studio until they're finished. They're not even released on the media.
Yes.
So y'all getting a sneak peek, just saying. So when I told Mr. Armstrong, I took home the piece to finish it off. And then, boom, I tripped on something in my house, and water threw away on the piece, and I had to start completely over. So it's not more so of my skill that I make mistakes, I was just accidents.
Yeah, the accidents will occur. When they do, you have to start all over. But you can rescue sometimes depending on the severity of the thing, right?
Yes, depending.
Yeah.
That one I couldn't do to Mr. Armstrong. I want to send this piece down through history for him.
But you know, your artist is never complete. How do you know when it's finished?
For me, it's more spiritual. The piece just speaks to me. So the piece will say, Dwayne, you overworking me, I'm done. And I can't make this up. Listen, right? Only thing that the piece I couldn't bring was Amanda River. That's being exhibited right now in Speightstown. But as I was working on that piece, it was like, I was working on it for months, I kid you not, a few weeks. And I was in the studio, just putting in work. And the piece, I kid you not, the piece look at me, and I could almost hear audible voice, like, listen, don't put another piece of charcoal on me, I'm done.
Wow.
And because you as an artist, you gotta be careful not to overwork.
Yes.
Or underwork the piece. You just gotta be really, really careful.
I like that connection that you have though to what you do, because it speaks to you, but it's what you're doing now is speaking to us as well. And that's how we know, for me, I know it's a really outstanding piece of art, because you can hear, you can feel the life within the piece as you go.
Yes,
but you know, you're watching the picture that you're working from, and you're trying as best you can, I guess, to replicate in your painting what you see right there. But do you sometimes take artistic liberty and you say, you know what, it might be an additional wrinkle there, but I'm going to take out that wrinkle?
No, I never do that. So if you come into me expecting me to meet you, look like a magazine person, I draw you exactly how I see you.
See?
I will not remove or add anything. I'm just drawing you as you are.
That is why I said not me. Because I would be very displeased with what I want to see. But this is really good. And you've been doing this now for how long? How many years?
Oh, since I was 4, I'm 23, so 20 years or so.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's only 23, folks. He's only 23. And this young man here has been doing this literally all of his life and creating memories, really, in painting of people who we know and people who he met and his different clients as well. This is truly outstanding work from this very young man from St. Peter. You said you were from Indian Ground?
No, please. I'm from Miners Road, St. Peter.
Miners Road, St. Peter. And you're still in the area?
Yes.
You don't want to leave St. Peter?
If I don't want to leave, honestly, I enjoy St. Peter. And I recently built my home.
Oh, nice.
So
yeah, no reason to leave now.
No reason to leave.
That's your home there now.
Yes, that's my home right now.
And when you stop to reflect on your journey until now, you know, the young boy with the cross eyes, as you tend to refer to yourself, with the challenges early, and now here you are with your own home, exhibiting. What does that mean to you, all of that?
It means to me, I can just have a conversation, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You can stop.
Okay, cool.
What is all? No, you reflect on your life, you reflect on your journey, you reflect on all your achievements. Do you get a chance to stop and look back and say, wow, I've done so much, I've come so far?
Yeah. I sat down yesterday, believe it or not, because since 2019, I made a decision to go fully into God. So I made a commitment to making marriage a whole 9 yards.
Wow.
And it was rough because due to my dad I mentioned to you, I was into some scaffolds and stuff with a few guys, and due to his name, and I was like, damn, this ain't what I want for myself. Despite I'm not a part of by extension. So I sat down yesterday and I was like, you know what, I would like to go up on Good Morning Barbados. This was before y'all called me, you know. I sat there and was like, oh, I'd go up on Good Morning Barbados to show the youth of Barbados that despite you may have been dealt a bad hand of cards, you know, you may have got all the odd status against you, you may have got the kingdom of darkness and a whole other list of people against you and at your throat. You know, you can still make it. You can still get up and create your own future, push forward. You know, that's me. So I sit down and I told myself, look, Levin, you're 23 years old. Before I was like, damn, before I get 20, I want to be this big artist, I want to be this big thing. And I said, no, everything in God's timing. And I decided to like, go a scripture when he was talking about if he provides for the sparrows and the and all these stuff, he will for me.
That's right.
And I just surrendered, and every accomplishment, I said, God, thank you, and I keep moving forward. One past in November, like I mentioned, and it lit me up a stars. I ain't gonna lie, it lit me up a stars. But I took a step back, and I came back to work, and people start recognizing me on the street. And start calling me, people when they in conversation, like, you W Sandyford, I know you were already, bro, you gotta tell me.
Nice.
And I like, yo, I really doing this thing for real. And I came back in full force.
And you're doing so well, Dwayne, boy. Yeah. We're so immensely proud of you, Dwayne, honestly. And I really want folks to come down to the library and check your exhibition. Thank you very, very much for joining us this morning. I commend you on your excellence, Dwayne.
Thank you.
Excellence. And continue representing the young people of Barbados and yourself as well as you do. And as people come through the exhibition, I hope they get a chance to talk to you some more and to really engage with this very, very inspirational young man, Dwayne Sandyford, note the name, one of Barbados' best fine artists. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Before I go, I would like to add, all the youth of Barbados, I advise you all to come on down and meet me. Dwayne Sandyford, award-winning fine artist, the Community Development Arts Program, Ministry of Youth recently launched Project Dawn. We take people like me, people like, you don't care your background, all ages, just come on down and I'll work with you.
Excellent. Great job, Dwayne. Congratulations. That's for Jennifer Griffith on our Facebook page. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mornin Barbados, thanks to you as well. We do look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Our little crew is looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a good day, Barbados. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados, good morning.